is not Ayuni with Nurizlan. My student ID is 2020101079.
Hi, Assalamualaikum. My name is Muhammad Ahmad Afandi bin Rosdi and I'm from Seremban Negeri Sembilan. My student ID is 2020758287.
Hi, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nur Hamizah binti Amr Khairi. My matrix number is 2020745125.
Now we are going to discuss about theory of demand. So what is demand? In economic, demand is defined as the ability and willingness to buy specific quantities of goods in a given period of time at a particular price, ceteris paribus. Next, for the law of demand. As you can see in this graph, we can say that the higher the price of a product, the lower the quantity demand, and the lower the price, the higher quantity demand of a product. And we can conclude that price and quantity demand are negatively related.
Alright, next I will explain about the determinants of demand. There are 8 determinants of demand. First is price of related goods. We have two types, such as substitute goods and complementary goods. The substitute goods are goods or service that can be used in place of another product or service. When the price of goods A is increased, so the demand for goods B will be increased. This situation shows that as the consumer, of course, we want to pay for the less product, right? So we will try to find another product that we can substitute with goods A. That means the demand for goods B will be increased because of the product that we can substitute with goods A. For example, tea versus coffee. If the price of tea is increased, so the quantity demand for coffee will be increased. This is conclude that the substitute goods are positively related. Okay, next is complementary goods. The complementary goods are goods that are used in conjunction with another product. Okay, when the price of goods A is increased, so the quantity demand for goods B will be decreased. For example, breads and butter. If the price of breads is increased, so the demand for butter will be decreased. So the conclusion for complementary goods is the both products are negatively related. Alright, the second determinant of demand is income. Basically, this is the income from the consumer. When consumers' income is high, so the quantity demand for normal and lesser goods will be increased. But for inferior goods, when consumers' income is high, so the quantity demand for inferior goods will be decreased. For example, let be spaghetti as a normal goods and Maggi as the inferior goods. If the price of Maggi is increased, so the quantity demand for Maggi will drop. So, if the quantity demand for Maggi will drop, then the quantity demand for spaghetti will be increased. This situation will happen because for now, the consumers have a high income and they have the tendency to choose a better product. Okay, third is taste and preference. Taste and preference from consumers have a direct influence on the demand for a product. When consumers prefer to choose from goods A to goods B because of the few reasons, automatically the quantity demand for new goods will be increased. For example, if the consumers change their favorite handbag from Gucci handbags to Chanel's handbag, so the quantity demand for Chanel's handbag will be increased. Festive seasons also become the fourth of determinants of demands. During festive seasons, different products will be in high demand. For example, during Hari Raya festivities, the quantity demand for lemang, ketupat, and so on will be greater. But During Chinese New Year, the demand for porridge will be greater. The fifth determinant of demand is size of population. When the market size is increased, so the quantity demand for goods will be increased. For example, when the population in Shah Alam is increased, so automatically the goods and service in Shah Alam will be increased, such as entertainment, healthcare, mobility, and so on will be increased in Shah Alam. The sixth is expectation. When the consumers is expect the price of product will be increased at the next month, so the quantity demand for the product will increase at the present time. For example, the price of smartphone is expected to rise in the next month, so the quantity product for smartphone will be increased at the present time because the consumers can expect what will happen in the future. Alright, the second last is level of taxation. If the taxes is higher, that means the purchasing power of consumers is lower and vice versa. This situation shows that the quantity demand will be decreased. For example, if the government reduce income tax by 10%, so the consumers will have more money to spend on goods and service. So the quantity demand for service and goods will be increased. Alright, for the last one is supply of money in circulation. When the supply of money in circulation is large, so goods and service also will be greater. This is because of the consumers have more money to spend. Furthermore, the demand also will be increased, such as loan for interest.
Hello, Assalamualaikum. My name is Muhammad Afandi bin Rosdi, and now it's my turn to present to you about change in demand versus change in quantity demand. As we know, my friends, Ayuni and Hamiza has explained to you about what is demand and quantity demand, theory of demand, and else. And as for me, I will tell and explain to you what is different between change in demand and change in quantity demand. So let's get on. Now we will talk about change in demand. As for change in demand, as we can see in this graph, there has price against quantity. The graph will either shift to the right or shift to the left, which is caused by a variety of factors such as preference, income, price of substitutes, complements, expectations, populations, and etc. But as we can see, the price are constant and the quantity is changed when there are increase in demand. It will shift to the right. As you can see, DO to D2. If it decrease in demand, it will shift to the left. As you see, DO to D1. As for change in quantity demand are the movement along the graph. It occurs when a price of product changes but the other factors are constant. The graph will either move upward or downward. The upward movement occurs when there are increase in quantity demand, which is called contraction. As for downward movement occur when there are increase in quantity demand, which is called expansion. So there are few different things between the change in demand and change in quantity demand. Hope you take note about the most important info that we have explained to you. We are hoping you are enjoying our presentation and this topic that we have covered can upgrade your understanding and theory of demand. I think that is all for now. Good luck guys and Assalamualaikum.